Hello, this is Hal Sawyer. For the next 15 minutes, we're proud to present one of America's most thrilling personalities, Miss Judy Garland, appearing on behalf of the 1955 March of Dimes. Who can forget Judy singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow in The Wizard of Oz? And thanks to her, that song will be loved and remembered always. And thanks to people like you, our listening audience, I'm sure that thousands of little polio sufferers will be loved and remembered by generous contributions to the March of Dimes. Am I right, Judy?
You're right, Hal. I'm sure we all want to pull together so that somewhere over the rainbow will be health and happiness and a fair break in life for all of the little victims of this horrible disease.
Well, Judy, if anyone should know about the breaks a kid can get out of life, it's you. You've been in show business since you were old enough to toddle.
Since I was 2, to be exact.
You mean you've had your name up in lights since you were 2 years old?
Well, hardly. I wasn't exactly billed on that first appearance.
You know, I didn't know Judy Garland ever got less than top billing.
Well, you see how it was this way. My 2 sisters had just finished singing a number one matinee at my father's theater in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Daddy was busy in the box office. I was running around backstage all by myself. And being a ham, even at that tender age, I wandered out on the stage while my sisters were taking their final bow and started to sing.
I bet you brought the house down.
Well, I imagine that's a bit of an exaggeration, but at least it persuaded Daddy I should be in show business.
And that's how you started.
Yeah, that's it. A few days later, I became the 3rd member of the singing and dancing Gum Sister. I've been in show business ever since.
Well, to bring us up to date on your brilliant career, how about letting us hear one of those swell songs from your new picture, A Star is Born?
Well, I'd love to. No sooner said than done. Maestro?
Oh, that was wonderful, Judy. Certainly one of the best from a picture that's chock full of great songs.
Thank you. But I have a heart that's chock full of something, too. I want to talk about it.
Our microphone is all yours.
All right. Friends, I have 2 youngsters at home who mean the world to me, and soon there'll be a 3rd. Like you, I want my children to have the very best that life can offer them. And certainly most important among life's blessings are health and happiness. Unfortunately, for many children, those blessings have been temporarily taken away by the ruthless crippler, polio. For them, health and happiness are only a fleeting memory. And only we, with our contributions to the March of Dimes, can offer the promise of someday restoring this God-given heritage.
Thank you, Judy. I'm sure the plight of these unfortunate youngsters is very close to all our hearts. But now, how about giving us another of those heart-throbbing tunes of yours? You know, something like It's a New World.
It's my pleasure.
That was wonderful, Judy. And say, you know, while you were singing, I couldn't help wondering if little Frances Gum back in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, ever dreamed that she would someday sing for millions of people on radio and in the movies.
Why, Hal, of course I did. Every child has wonderful dreams. And that's what we must all restore for those helpless polio victims. The hopes and dreams of someday attaining a great goal. In their case, I'm sure the greatest dream is that they may someday walk again and play again like other children.
And I'm sure of it. And I'm sure that everyone in our listening audience is going to do his or her part to make that dream come true by giving generously to the 1955 March of Dimes. And now, Judy, could we have one last song, please?
Oh, sure. May I do another one of my favorites, Go Lose That Long Face?
Why, sure.
Thank you, friends, for letting us spend these few minutes with you. And please give generously to aid the battle against polio. Surely no price is too great for giving a child the chance to live again. Won't you help, please, by joining the 1955 March of Dimes? Thank you.
And our thanks to you, Judy Garland. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Judy Garland. This program was specially transcribed and brought to you as a public service by this station in cooperation with the 1955 March of Dimes. And now, this is Hal Sawyer joining Judy Garland in urging you to send your dimes and dollars, all you can possibly spare, to your local March of Dimes headquarters today.
The 1957 March of Dimes presents the one and only Judy.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Peter Roberts.
Hello, Judy. You know, I saw you just a few weeks ago at the Mecca of vaudeville on Broadway, the Palace, and I know well the hush that comes over the audience as you come on stage.
If there's one thing I don't like, it's too long a hush. So let's break it up with a song, shall we? And right now I feel like Well, just like this.
Thank you, Judy, and I hope you'll always feel a song coming on.
Well, it's very kind of you to say that. As a matter of fact, I guess I'll always feel that way. It's pretty hard to break a habit that began at a very tender age, you know.
Do you remember the first song you ever sang on stage, Judy?
Oh, definitely. It was at my father's theater in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. My two sisters, Jimmy and Susie, had just finished singing Jingle Bells. Well, they ran off, and I ran on. And nobody could get me off that stage until I finished my version of Jingle Bells, which was 7 choruses. My dad came out and finally grabbed me in the middle of the 7th one, and I think I finished yelling the last half over his shoulder as he dragged me off.
Very good. From a little girl in a shiny Christmas dress in Minnesota to a great lady in a baggy tramp costume breaking all records at New York's Palace. Your story has become a show business legend, Judy.
Oh, that's very nice. All I really want to be is a performer, Peter. Difficult as that sometimes is.
Yes, and I guess it will come as news to no one that being a performer can be plenty difficult at times.
Yeah, that's true. But it's the little things that give you more heartbreak than anything else. Like that time when I was very young and the famous Gus Edwards was in the audience, and I came on with my left eye nearly closed because of the most beautiful sty you've ever seen. Or the time my sisters and I were getting our big break in Chicago, and we went out and stared at our names on the theater marquee.
Oh, there's nothing so terrible about that, Judy.
No, but our names were the Gum Sisters, remember?
And?
Only on the marquee we were billed as the Glum Sisters.
I guess those are times when you don't feel a song coming on, huh, Judy?
Well, unless it's a song like this one.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as she does when she plays the Palace, Judy Garland comes down to our footlights and speaks directly to the audience. Judy?
Thank you, Peter. But I don't want the spotlight on me at this moment. I'd like it to be focused on a little girl named Molly, or perhaps a little boy named Tommy. Names don't really matter because there are thousands of such boys and girls, and what makes your heart ache when you see them is that they want so much to be like other kids, to laugh and to play and go to school. But that's not possible, you see, for these children have been struck down by the merciless crippler, polio. If you go into a hospital ward right now and see these children in iron lungs, in other respirators, see them struggling to take a single step, to move a finger just a tiny bit, what would you say to them? Could you find it in your heart to try to explain to them that for them at least the Salk vaccine came too late? Could you find it in your heart to turn from them, walk out of the hospital and forget them? No, we can't forget them. We can and must help them. So please, join the 1957 March of Dimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Could I have one final word, Peter?
Of course, Judy.
Well, right now, there are 80,000 victims of polio who need help. For them, the Salk vaccine came too late. But it's not too late to help them build new lives, and we can do that by joining the 1957 March of Dimes. Thank you so much for listening.